However, his lack of social integration and the absence of a strong familial bond could be seen as early indicators of potential psychological issues. By his teenage years, Jackson had already begun getting into trouble with the law. Petty theft, vandalism, and minor crimes were common in his criminal history before his eventual escalation to more violent acts. Despite his criminal record, Jackson managed to maintain a low profile in his early adulthood, working menial jobs around Chicago. He had periods of unemployment and financial instability, often struggling to make ends meet. However, it was clear that he had a complex relationship with money and status. Jackson's desire for financial stability, paired with a growing resentment for those who had what he didn't, became an integral part of his psyche as he got older. It was during these years that he began to develop an obsession with power and a distorted view of success. His arrest record, littered with minor crimes, began to grow into more serious offenses. He was in and out of jail for a variety of charges, but had yet to commit any particularly violent crimes. Yet, by the time of the Brown's Chicken massacre, Jackson's criminal behavior had evolved. The man who had once been a petty criminal was now becoming a calculated and dangerous individual. Jackson's mindset before the crime. James D. Jackson's psychology became more complex. As the years wore on, the idea of financial success was a major driving force in his life, but not through hard work or perseverance. Jackson believed that he was entitled to the wealth and success of others. The resentment he harbored towards those who had what he didn't grew into an obsession with revenge. He began to see others as obstacles to his own happiness. Whether it was his failure to succeed professionally or the lack of a meaningful personal life, Jackson's sense of entitlement to a better existence became distorted. As he grew older, Jackson's frustration with his lack of success deepened. This was a man who had never been able to make his mark on society. He had no stable career, no family life, and was unable to achieve any of the typical markers of success that others around him had attained. These failures weighed heavily on him, and over time, they cultivated a growing bitterness. This bitterness wasn't just directed at his family or himself. It became targeted at anyone who had what he believed he was owed. It is likely that Jackson also felt an overwhelming sense of humiliation and anger. As a result of his failed attempts at building a life for himself, it was this bitterness that would eventually explode into the Brown's Chicken